And we're buying the LA Lakers. Actually, Fezzi, he's still buying the Clippers. Bully and I were on the same page there. Actually, Bully's buying the Clippers.
He's buying
Fezzi
the Clippers.
and I are on the same page. You're selling. I'm with Fezzi on that one there. But look at Jimmy Butler, what he's done since arriving to the Bay Area. They're first in free throw percentage, first in assists, tied for steals, offensive rebounds, turnovers, points off turnovers, points to the paint. You know what? Since Jimmy come aboard, they've been pretty good, as Steve Kerr touched on it in his pregame presser.
We're turning people over, getting a lot of deflections, and that's helping us score in transition. But yeah, big differential right now in our ability to take care of the ball and then forcing our opponents into turnovers. So that's been big. But Draymond and Jimmy behind the play are both so smart. I would throw BP in there too. When those three guys are together, there's a really good defensive connection, good rotations, good feel for what's happening, and so it's been a good group.
To follow on that, as it pertains to reducing your turnovers on offense, obviously Jimmy plays a role in that. But what have you noticed within the group from a decision-making standpoint in terms of the passes you guys are making, reducing turnovers?
Yeah, I think Jimmy is having an impact on the rest of the guys, and we're hammering home the point of how important it is. We're #1 in the league in turnover percentage the last 10 games, so even the few games before we got Jimmy factors in. But I think Jimmy's play is contagious. The footwork, the constant, solid decision making over and over again. The impact that can have on a game is pretty dramatic.
Jonathan Kuminga. He's been out a while, right? Missed the last 24 games since suffering that right ankle sprain against the Grizzlies in early January. He's out tonight against the Orlando Magic, but he has been scrimmaging. However, the Warriors will be cautious with the 22-year-old Jonathan Kuminga, who's averaging over 20 points and 6 rebounds in his previous 15 games, shooting 48% from the floor and 40 from 3. He was playing the best basketball of his career. And this is a great asset to have coming back to a roster that's rolling right now. So, Mully, I know you got to check him out in practice the other day. I'm taking your word for it. I heard he looks phenomenal right now, and it's just a matter of time before he hits the court again.
Well, most importantly, Bonnie, what you just said, he was playing his best basketball before he got injured his ankle. He's a 22-year-old dynamic athlete. He's going to be fine coming back in here. We've seen Jimmy Butler's impact on so many players. I think it's going to have as big an impact on Jonathan Kuminga. #1 for decision-making. In the half court, this team is much more organized than it has been the last 3 seasons. When Jimmy Butler gets that ball in the mid-post, the decision-making on when to cut, when to space, when to screen is so obvious now because everything's in front of you. Jimmy Butler gets that ball, faces the basket, and commands either a double team, and then you know exactly what to do next. So I think it's going to help Jonathan Kuminga's decision-making on all those things that he needs to do in the half court. And I think in the full court, he can get out there and be his dynamic, athletic self. So I think this transition should be as seamless for him as it has been for Jimmy Butler.
Well, the rich get richer because the Warriors right now are playing incredibly well. I will stick with the defensive end. When you have Jonathan Kuminga with Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green on the floor at the same time, that is a formidable force on the defensive end against any team. We just talked so much about the playoffs and how the Warriors are looking to make a run. Well, if you have all 3 of those guys, you play small, but you're big at those positions. Jimmy Butler has a matchup advantage. Draymond Green can have a matchup advantage defensively right there. And Jonathan Kuminga, how many guys can stay in front of JK? What positions? The 3s, 4s? And J.K. was ability to cut to the rim, Jimmy Butler's and Draymond Green's playmaking ability. These are all things that can really help and can gel together. But I'm going to put the onus on Steve Kerr because when you have so much talent, your job is to try to figure out how you can put all those guys together. And right now, they're still trying to figure out all the different parts that work together. Putting J.K. is going to put that rotation on flux again. And the Warriors, I think it's a good problem.
And, Bob, you brought it up a lot. I think they've addressed the stretch 5 with Quentin Post.
Right.
And when he gets his minutes, they have that figured out. Jonathan Kuminga defensively, keeping those straight line drive guards like Andrew Wiggins did. That's going to be his main responsibility defensively.
Point of attack defense. He could fill that role, and we've seen him do it in the past. So when it comes to stock watch with the Warriors line as well, Orlando have one of the worst offenses in the NBA, if not the worst offense but it's all about Paolo Banchero, the Rookie of the Year. Of course, when he came out of Duke University, we got to see him right here in the Bay Area when Duke played in the NCAA tournament. Break his game down here because he's a budding superstar.
He is a budding superstar, but he's going to be one of the best players in the NBA, and he's a dynamic offensive player. Similar to Jimmy Butler, he likes to play inside the three-point line. He can get off the dribble. He loves attacking the basket. Important tonight, keep him off the free throw line. You're going to live with these contested twos. He will play in crowds. Help defense is going to be important, Fezzi.
Every time he wants to he's a big man with a lot of skill, but the big men always want to get close to the rim right here. Shooting 62% for the restricted paint right there. He's a load. You talked about not fouling him. He's going to try to get downhill. Big guy, strong, and he's going to be able to put the ball in the foul. You got to make sure you put your athletes on him.
He's an ISO player, so it's going to be important to have the weak side defense pulled over. Make sure you get legal and you're in help position, communication by Draymond. Once again, you can get up on him, force him left to the corner fill, and then live with a contested two.
The goal is to make him shoot jumpers, because when he gets out of the paint, the numbers drop significantly. Right here, Draymond Green doing a great job of baiting him to a jump shot. Right here, gets it off. If he hits those, you live with it.
Live with it. This team is 30th in scoring, so they're last in scoring. They struggle from the field. They're 30th. From the three, they're 29th. They're going to miss shots. You do not want to put them on the free throw line. Give them nothing easy, and this can be a nice workmanlike victory on the road.
What's going on with Paolo, though? Because he got off to a terrific start the first 6 or 7 games of the season.
Did he have 50?
Missed 34. He tore his oblique. He had a 50-burger. He's shooting 28% from the three-point line, just 40% from the field in his previous 21 games. So he hasn't been on track, and the Magic go as he goes.
Well, yeah, I mean, you never know what players are dealing with injuries, and you're playing through stuff. And you say he just came back from an injury. So as a young player trying to get back into the game, get back in the rhythm with his team, the team is really struggling. They can't shoot right now. I think they're last in the league in three-point percentage. His numbers dropped significantly. 60s in the paint, 30s long twos, and the three-point line, he's shooting at the 20% mark. So that's something that the Warriors can take advantage of tonight, because you make sure you play against him. Don't let him get downhill. Force him into contested jump shots, and do not foul when he drives down the paint.
The exact opposite of the Warriors. Jimmy Butler has come to the Warriors, which was a dominant three-point shooting team. He's added inside presence. The Orlando Magic are exclusively working inside the three-point line. There's no spacing. In turn, all their players shoot contested shots. That's what brings your percentage down.
But they do play defense, Fezzi Phil. Or do they play defense?
Did you say
the numbers prove it?
Were they second in the league?
Look at points allowed there first.
You got them going to the finals?
I don't have it. I'm selling the Magic. Okay. Tell you that right there. They're not on my stock watch.
I thought defense was championships, man.
Time out.
The second in block shots.
Yes, but their defense is forced because they force a lot of steals, but that's not necessarily great defense. That's just being able to be young and athletic and get out there in the passing lanes.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
They held the Warriors to 24 points.
A little asterisk there.
The Warriors saw them earlier this season at Chase Center. That was February 3rd, where I thought, oh, maybe the Warriors do need to make a move. 104-99. Sorry to remind you about that basketball game. But there's a lot of bricks.
That was Warriors 2. We had Warriors 1 at 12-3. Warriors 2 at 14-23. This is Warriors 3.
Okay.
By far the best version, and no comparison to the other two.
That's right. I mean, appropriate fear is still important. When you're out on the road, you can't give the team easy baskets, taking care of the ball. All the things the Warriors have been good at, you got to bring it on the road and set the tone on the first game.
Well, you brought up Jimmy Butler. 1-6 is Jimmy Butler's departure. 29th in offense, 18th in defense, and 27th in net rating since the trade.
I mean, small sample size, but trade domination.
Trade domination. So far, so good for the Golden State Warriors. But right now, we have the will of Jimmy, folks. The will of Jimmy, because he's impacted everybody. Heck, he's impacted the training room. He's impacted the coaching staff. And he's impacted his teammates here. So I'm going to spin this wheel, Fezzi and Mully. And whatever player it lands on, you guys will explain how Jimmy Butler has impacted
Steve Kerr,
that.
Because when you have so much talent, your job is to try to figure out how you can put all those guys together. And right now, they're still trying to figure out all the different parts that work together. Putting JK is going to put that rotation in flux again. And the Warriors, I think it's a good problem.
And Bud, you brought it up a lot. I think they've addressed the stretch five with Quentin Post.
Right.
And when he gets his minutes, they have that figured out. Jonathan Kuminga, defensively, keeping those straight line drive guards like Andrew Wiggins did. That's going to be his main responsibility defensively.
Point of attack defense. He could fill that role, and we've seen him do it in the past. So when it comes to stock watch with the Warriors line as well, Orlando have one of the worst offenses in the NBA, if not the worst offense. But it's all about Paolo Banchero, the Rookie of the Year. Of course, when he came out of Duke University, we got to see him right here in the Bay Area when Duke played in the NCAA.
The Los Angeles Lakers continue to be one of the most compelling teams in the NBA, but there's still a divide on how far they can truly go. While some analysts remain firmly invested in the Clippers' potential, there's no denying that the Lakers, fueled by a resurgent LeBron James and the addition of Luka Doncic, have been one of the league's hottest teams. However, across the Bay Area, a different storyline is unfolding, and it's one that's impossible to ignore. The arrival of Jimmy Butler has completely transformed the Golden State Warriors, turning them into a defensive juggernaut and elevating their offensive efficiency in ways that have stunned even the most seasoned analysts. The numbers tell a story of dominance. First in free throw percentage, first in assists, tied for first in steals, and among the best in offensive rebounds, point off turnovers and paint scoring. Since Butler stepped onto the floor in a Warriors uniform, they have been an entirely different beast. Head coach Steve Kerr acknowledged a shift in his pre-game press conference, emphasizing the team's newfound ability to force turnovers and create transition opportunities. That shift, according to Kerr, has been instrumental in Golden State's surge. But the real story lies in the basketball IQ and defensive synergy that Butler brings, alongside Draymond Green and young defensive standout Brandon Podziemski. Kerr pointed out that when those three share the floor, the Warriors' rotations are sharper, their communication is seamless, and their ability to disrupt opposing offenses is at an elite level. It's a connection that has completely reshaped their defensive identity. Butler's presence has also had a tangible effect on the Warriors' ability to limit their own mistakes. Golden State, long criticized for their high turnover rate, now leads the league in turnover percentage over the last 10 games, dating back even before Butler's arrival. Yet, it's clear that his influence has accelerated this shift. His footwork, decision-making, and composure have become contagious, setting a tone for the rest of the roster. The Warriors have not just improved defensively, they have become more disciplined, more calculated, and significantly tougher to beat. While Butler has dominated the headlines, the potential return of Jonathan Kuminga looms as another major development for Golden State. The 22-year-old forward, who was in the midst of a breakout stretch before suffering a right ankle sprain in January, has missed 24 games but has resumed scrimmaging. Kuminga was averaging over 20 points and 6 rebounds per game while shooting 48% from the field and an impressive 40% from three in his last 15 outings. His return would add another dynamic weapon to a team that is already surging. Reports from practice suggest that he looks phenomenal, but the Warriors are taking a cautious approach, ensuring that their young star is fully ready before reintegrating him into the lineup. Perhaps the most intriguing element of Kuminga's return is how seamlessly he could fit into the Warriors' evolving system. The presence of Butler has already elevated the team's organization in the half-court offense, providing clearer structure for players to move, cut, and space the floor effectively. When Butler catches the ball in the mid-post, his ability to command double teams forces the defense to react, opening up opportunity for players like Kuminga to make decisive cuts and attack the rim. That level of clarity and structure is something Golden State has lacked in previous seasons, and Kuminga stands to benefit immensely from it. Defensively, the Warriors could be building something truly special. A lineup featuring Butler, Green, and Kuminga has the potential to be one of the most suffocating defensive trios in the league. The ability to switch across multiple positions, disrupt passing lanes, and contest shots at an elite level would give Golden State a defensive backbone that few teams can match. In the playoffs, Versatility is king, and the Warriors are quietly assembling a unit that can adapt to any opponent. With Butler and Green providing veteran leadership, Kuminga will have the perfect environment to thrive on both ends of the floor. Golden State's momentum comes at a critical juncture as they prepare to face an Orlando Magic team that has struggled offensively all season. The Magic rank among the league's worst in scoring and three-point shooting, placing even more importance on the performance of their rising star, Paolo Banchero. The reigning Rookie of the Year has been a dominant force inside the arc, excelling at attacking the basket and getting to the free throw line. However, his efficiency plummets outside the paint, making perimeter defense a focal point for Golden State. Keeping Banchero away from the rim and forcing him into contested jumpers will be a priority, with Green and Butler likely spearheading that effort. Orlando's offensive struggles are no secret, but their defense has kept them competitive. Ranked second in the NBA in defensive rating, the Magic thrive on creating turnovers and disrupting passing lanes. However, their defensive success hasn't translated into overall dominance, as their inability to generate efficient offense continues to be a glaring weakness. When these two teams met earlier in the season, Orlando managed to grind out a 104-99 win. But this version of the Warriors is completely different. Golden State has evolved, and with Butler in the mix, they now have a level of grit and discipline that simply wasn't there before. One of the most fascinating narratives surrounding the Warriors' resurgence is the impact Butler has had beyond just the court. From the locker room to the training staff, his presence has been felt everywhere. His influence has extended to every facet of the organization, shaping the team's identity in ways that few mid-season acquisitions ever do. As the Warriors continue to climb in the standings, the debate shifts from whether they are playoff contenders to just how dangerous they can become when fully healthy. The will of Jimmy Butler is real, and Golden State is thriving because of it. And if you need any further proof of Butler's impact, just take a look at his former team. Since his departure, the Miami Heat have completely unraveled, posting one of the worst offensive and defensive ratings in the league. The contrast is striking. While Miami has struggled to find answers, the Warriors have embraced their new identity and are surging at the perfect time. With the playoffs looming, Butler's arrival could prove to be the defining moment of Golden State season. This is Warriors 3.0, the best version yet, and the rest of the league is officially on notice.